Well, good evening. It's just past 6 o'clock and it's Saturday the 21st of May, and it hasn't been too bad a day today. I hope you've had a good day today. Certainly been busy here. Now, police officers investigating a burglary in Weymouth are appealing for information or footage from the public to help with their inquiries. Between 8 p.m. on Friday the 13th of May and 1 a.m. on Saturday the 14th of May, a burglary occurred at an address in the Stanley Street area of Weymouth. Items of jewellery were stolen from the property, as well as an Amazon Kindle and a Philips beard trimmer. They're appealing for anyone who saw or heard anything suspicious in the area around the relevant time, and of course anybody who was driving through that area and had a dash cam on to have a look at footage and see if you saw anybody wandering around looking suspicious. If you've got any information of help to Dorset Police, do give them a call on 101 or anonymously through Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Now, a Dorset sunflower trail is back for another year this year, following a success in 2021. The Sunflower Trail at Maiden Castle Farm near Dorchester is organised by Hazel Hoskin and is a major fundraising activity. The farm will create a spectacular sunflower trail which will raise funds this year for the DCH Kingfisher Ward, that's Dorset County Hospital Kingfisher Ward, and Cherkasy Hospital in Ukraine. Half the profits generated by the trail will be donated by the farm to be shared equally between these two chosen charities. Last year, an amazing £25,000 was raised for the Special Care Baby Unit at Dorset County Hospital. This year, Hazel is working closely with Dorchester Town Council on a range of additional events and activities in Dorchester itself, all based around the theme of sunflowers. Visitors will be encouraged to visit Dorset Town Centre from mid-July to see spectacular sunflower sculptures suspended across South Street. There will also be sunflower-themed shop windows across the town as local retailers join in with the activities. The main event, of course, will happen in August, and that will be at Maiden Castle Farm itself, when the sunflower crop is fully grown and in all its glory, and the sunflower trail will be created on the farm and will be highlighted for many people, especially the many thousands who visited the attraction last summer. Now, the tickets for the sunflower trail will go on sale in July, so you've got a little time to wait, and I'm sure we will be covering that again near the time, but just one for your diaries and look out for those events happening in Dorchester. Now, Dorset County Hospital has submitted plans to further develop the hospital site at Dorchester. Dorset County Hospital has already been earmarked funding from the government's new hospital programme to build a new emergency department and critical care unit, which is now all well underway, and of course a new multi-storey car park as well, which is nearing completion. The hospital also want to build a new two-storey main entrance, hospital support centre, key worker housing, and to create an integrated care hub. These all form part of Dorset County Hospital's Your Future Hospital programme, which sets out plans over the next 5 years to expand clinical facilities on site and help meet an increasing demand. In February and March, the Trust invited staff and the general public to comment on its future plans. Nearly 400 people gave their feedback, and this has been included as part of the outline planning application, which seeks a decision on the general principles, scale and nature of the development. Now, if Dorset Council grants permission, this would be subject to conditions, and the Trust would need to draw up and submit detailed plans for each individual part of the project. Now, if you're interested in this, more information about their future plans can be viewed online at www.dchft.nhs.uk/your-future-hospital. That's www.dchft.nhs.uk/your-future-hospital. Exciting plans there, and certainly if you visited the hospital lately, you'll have seen the amount of work that's going on, and they've been posting up new pictures of the emergency department, etc. All good stuff going on there at our local hospital. Now, there is still time for you to have your say on the community governance review being undertaken by Dorset Council. Weymouth Town Council has submitted its response on Dorset Council's Community Governance Review and is encouraging local people to contribute their views before the consultation closes. Now, it's a very tight timescale. It closes on Monday. That's Monday the 23rd of May, this coming Monday, a couple of days' time. The review will define Weymouth's main boundary, the council wards and the number of councillors needed to represent residents' views. The full review also covers all parishes in Dorset, and the online survey is available on Dorset Council's website until midnight on Monday. That's the 23rd of May. Now, if you're interested in commenting specifically on the Weymouth proposal, when you go onto the site, it's proposal number 47 that relates to Weymouth. That's proposal number 47. The current proposal from Dorset Council recommends reducing the number of Weymouth Town Council wards from 12 to 8 and the number of councillors from 29 to 24. But Weymouth Town Council's response takes into consideration around 2,500 new homes planned for the town by 2026 and says increasing the overall town councillors from 29 to 30 would ensure fair representation for Weymouth's ever-growing population. So Dorset County Council want to reduce the councillors to 24, but Weymouth Town Council actually want them increased by 1 to 30. The Community Governance Review is all about aligning boundaries to communities, ensuring that small communities are not divided and that they have a clear identity and can be sufficiently represent Weymouth's diverse communities. Now, parish boundaries in England are used as the building blocks for upper level unitary boundaries, and so it's important to get these building blocks right. Now, residents are encouraged to submit their own views before the closing date. Consultation responses will be discussed at the future meeting of Dorset Council in July. To submit your view, and I've done mine today, it's quite easy. Go to Dorset Council website, search for Community Governance Review, and then take the questionnaire. And when it asks you what recommendation you're commenting on, it will show you it's Weymouth and it will show it's number 47. And you click on that and then you put your comments in. Now, obviously, if things get changed and you haven't put any comments in, then you can't really criticise it. This is your opportunity to put your comments in on the future structure of governance and local councillors for our area. Now, staying with Dorset Council, we have Dorset councillors have approved 8 new public space protection orders for 2022. The new orders will replace the existing orders for West Dorset and Weymouth and Portland. The orders cover antisocial behaviour in Bridport, Dorchester, Lyme Regis, Portland, West Bay and Weymouth, as well as introducing new powers to tackle antisocial behaviour related to unauthorised camping on beaches and lighting of open fires in forest areas in Ringwood and Wareham. Following public consultation in late 2021 and approval by Dorset Cabinet, the orders were made on the 19th of May. They will come into force on the 1st of July and will go all the way through to the 30th of June 2025. The orders renew and introduce powers that can be used by the council and its partners to address antisocial behaviour. In all 6 towns, dispersal powers are in place, which means that people engaging in antisocial behaviour could be fined if they fail to move on when asked. The new orders restricting camping on beaches in several locations include Chesil Beach, Weymouth Beach and Lulworth. This is in response to the rising number of people camping on beaches during recent summers, which led to a significant increase in nuisance complaints, damage to property, accumulation of rubbish and human waste and destruction of natural habitat. The Dorset Open Land Antisocial Behaviour relates to additional measures in preventing wildfires following the devastating fire at Wareham Forest in May 2020, which destroyed over 220 hectares of the forest. This measure is supported obviously by Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service, who emphasise that they are committed to working with the council to protect these areas. Well, there we go. That's just some new orders there, new powers to give orders to restrict camping on beaches, antisocial behaviour in towns, and having fires in forest and heathland, where obviously it can cause a lot of damage to habitat and nature. Now, the future of Weymouth Children's Residential Centre, the Cherries, is being considered, along with other services for disabled children across the county. The council have commented that no decisions have yet been made, however. The Cherries home for children aged 4 to 18 is rated good by Ofsted, but the building itself is described as tired. The council says now is the right time to consider the future provision. The Weymouth facility is for children and young people with severe learning disabilities and complex needs. It only has 9 residential places, although at times the average occupancy has been down to just 5 people. In February 2020, the council commissioned a report into the options of opening a new therapeutic children's home, possibly on the site of the Cherries, although the findings were not made public. Now, Councillor Parry, who's the portfolio holder for children, skills and early help, said, "We are carrying out work to strengthen services for children who are disabled. Part of this includes looking at our current facilities for residential provision, including the Cherries, and using opportunities available to develop a service which is flexible, responsive and which will complement existing services." Dorchester Councillor Richard Biggs has called for any possible changes to be handled in the most sensitive way. He said that previous closures of homes at Catterstock and Dorchester had led to anguish for those concerned. Executive Director for Children's Services Teresa Levy told a recent meeting that a small residential unit had been opened on Portland and other homes were likely to follow. She said that many parents had told the council that their children might not have needed residential care had there been better wraparound outreach services in years gone by. Now, our councillor in Wyke, Regis, Kate Weller, who chairs the Corporate Parenting Board, said she was a believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and warned against going into review of service with an idea of what might need changing. Undoubtedly, the Cherries is a little tired, she said. It's a model from a past era. These are children with complex needs, and we should only change their environment with the utmost of care, so we don't unsettle the help we've given them and the stability that they currently have. There we go. That's the Cherries. Now, Dorset Hospital, again, back to Dorset Hospital. We were talking about Dorset Hospital earlier, but this time they've urged people only to go to its emergency department for serious or life-threatening situations, as the service is currently under strain. Dorset County Hospital have warned that there are once again rising cases of COVID-19, which have significantly impacted emergency services at the hospital. Patients with minor injuries that require treatment are being asked to go to a minor injuries unit if possible, such as the one at Weymouth Hospital. Other minor injuries units include Bridport Community Hospital, Yeatman Hospital in Sherborne and Victoria Hospital in Wimborne. It's advised, first of all, that people should call 111 or visit www.111.nhs.uk online to find out where they should go to seek medical assistance, to avoid people turning up at the emergency department unnecessary. And I believe now, actually, although it's not in this report, that all of the minor injuries units are operating on an appointment-only basis. So you ring 111 and basically they make an appointment and off you go. It just means that they know you're coming, and it just controls the numbers of people in those departments. Now, winners of the Weymouth Mayor's Community Awards for 2022 have been announced. Outgoing Mayor Councillor Colin Huckle and incoming Mayor Councillor Anne Weaving have been out and about meeting their worthy winners to give them a big shout out for selfless work they do for others in the community. And here are the winners for you. Hallie Ray, also known as Hallie Hero, or the Little Pick Legend, youngest winner at 5 years old, spent the last year regularly clearing up the marsh and encouraging others by her example. Dawn Sewell. Dawn is an unsung hero and true pillar of the community, being instrumental with the Littlemore Community Action Group and Littlemore Food Bank. Jim Halls. Jim is an utterly dedicated member of the Weymouth community in respect of his work with youth football. Weymouth and Portland Marine Litter Project. David Taylor and Jane Furman, I mean those in Wyke will be familiar with these people, representing Weymouth and Portland Marine Litter Project, received the award for the provision of receptacles for safe disposal of fishing tackle, a story we have covered on the programme here before. Bob Ford. Bob is a volunteer running a volunteer group doing dry stone walling and hedging at Tumbledown. He will be presented with a certificate at a later date, apparently. And then another one we'll be familiar with, Des Lockery from Cycling Without Age and the Cycling Without Age volunteers. The Weymouth group has the largest fleet of trishaws in the country, with other groups looking to mirror their success. And we've We've covered the tri-shores and taken people out for rides on the programme before, so well done to Des and the team at Cycling Without Age. And James at Not Fancy. James works hard for the community as a volunteer and helped to establish the Littlemore Nest. Councillor Colin Huckle has congratulated all the winners during the annual Town Council meeting on Wednesday the 11th of May, highlighting what an inspiration they are for everyone in the town. And of course, well done to everybody who volunteers and all those that didn't win awards. Our town, our area and our country relies very, very heavily on volunteers of all types, giving their time selflessly and dedicated to the causes they support. Historic and legendary fossil hunter Mary Anning, who I'm sure you'll be familiar with, of Lyme Regis, is in the spotlight as her life and work is celebrated. A statue of the renowned paleontologist by the Mary Anning Rocks campaign group is being unveiled in Lyme Regis today. Lyme Regis Museum is also exhibiting a rarely seen portrait and an exhibition featuring one of her rare ichthyosaurs and a stunning newly discovered genus and species of extinct marine crocodile found by 2 local fossil hunters. The museum stands on Mary Anning's former home on the seafront, where the statue by Denise Dutton is due to be unveiled to mark her 222nd birthday. 222nd birthday for Mary Anning today. Mary's portrait is on loan from the Geological Society and will be on public display in Lyme for the first time. Painted in pastels, it is the work of local artist Benjamin Don, who would have known Mary, and depicts her with her faithful dog Trey on the beach. Displayed alongside the picture will be a very rare ichthyosaur discovered by Mary in 1832, which is on loan from the Sedgwick Museum of Earth Sciences in Cambridge. No complete Mary Ann ichthyosaur has ever been on display in Lyme until now, so that's a first as well. Now, there are lots of other Mary Anning related items in the associated exhibition, which runs from now through until the end of September. So if you're down in Lyme, that'll be well worth a look in on. Now, a new community fund launched by Great Western Railway is now inviting applications to support local communities address areas of social need. From funding barbershop collectives to helping young people enjoy rural space as part of GWR's franchise agreement with the Department of Transport, the train operator is committed to supporting schools, colleges, councils, community and other not-for-profit organisations by aiding a number of initiatives. Now, GWR is calling for ideas and bids for all shapes and sizes for the year ahead. They must show a link to the railway and address areas of social need or community benefit. Schemes should reach completion by the end of March 2023. If you have an idea, Great Western Railway or GWR wants to hear from you. Each proposal will be treated on its own merits and consideration of the benefit it would bring to the community. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the recent successful projects and the amount of monies they've had, which are not too small, I have to say, they are good amounts of money. Some of the recent projects are £16,000 for a scheme to transform a rundown goods shed into a flagship social enterprise and community hub in Llanelli. Now, they do cover a wide area, so they aren't necessarily local. £25,000 grant to the Lions Barber Collective to train barbers as mental health advocates, who hosted a pop-up barbershop where men could get a free haircut and discuss their mental health at the same time. A £15,500 grant to help youngsters explore rural places in Gloucestershire as part of a series of activity days, including creative rural workshops exploring themes such as film, music and arts. £64,000 to support the Samaritans' life-saving work and mission to reduce the number of people who die by suicide. £45,000 grant to help Torbay Council in its ambition to make the area more child-friendly and providing work experience opportunities for up to 50 young people. And £40,000 grant to support 3 community rail projects encouraging more customers on the North Downs line. Now, there's significant amounts of money available. If you've got an idea and it's transport related and it's for the community and fulfills a social need, then do get in touch with GWR. Go along to their website and do get in touch with them and put in your proposal. If you have any trouble making contact with them, do get in touch with ourselves here at Wyke Regis TV, and we'll be happy to help put you in touch. Now, Dorset Wildlife Trust has said that the new UK government targets could mean less wildlife for future generations, and they're urging people to take note and action for nature now. It is now more than 6 months since the Landmark Environment Act was passed, the first dedicated environmental legislation for nearly 30 years, and the first time England has set legally binding targets for nature recovery. But the details of these targets are still being discussed, and a consultation is due to close on the 27th of June to assess how ambitious these targets will be. Now, it's crunch time for nature, says Dorset Wildlife Trust. In Dorset, over 400 species recorded in the past are thought to now be extinct in the area. These include the pear-bordered fritillary butterfly, the shrill carder bee, and the, I think that's a cough or a chough. Nearly 3,000 species are protected, threatened, rare or scarce. That includes over half the bee species and 42% of the butterflies. Recovery is possible. For example, Dorset Wildlife Trust is helping to restore populations of the ladybird spider. But we need nature back everywhere, not just intensive care for wildlife on the edge of extinction. Now, what they're saying is, unfortunately, the long-term targets currently being proposed for nature's recovery aims to have just 10% more nature in 2042 than in 2030, by which time the state of our natural world is expected to have declined even further. This could mean that wildlife is less abundant by 2042 than it is now, after another decade of decline, and clearly falls short of UK government's promise to pass on nature in better condition. UK nature is already in dire straits, they're saying. Now, the country is one of the most nature-depleted countries in the world. 41% of species are in decline, and 15% are at risk of extinction. It's hardly surprising when you consider that 97% of lowland meadows home to wildflowers, mammals and birds have disappeared, as have 80% of heathlands, and rivers are in deep trouble too. The new target that the UK government has proposed is too weak and unambitious. England would have less wildlife in 20 years' time than the much depleted state we have now. Now, the Wildlife Trusts, that's the organisation that all the local trusts work with, have put together a briefing pack which can be accessed online and will help you take part in that consultation if this is something that concerns you. Now, you can get hold of that briefing pack on their website at www.wildlifetrust.org. www.wildlifetrust.org. And finally, Weymouth and Portland is to feature in a new film, with filming starting tomorrow. Scavengers is an art house short film written and directed by Australian filmmaker Hugo Cavalier. The production is being supported by many local people, and filming starts tomorrow and runs through to the 26th of May. Keelan Summer-Hare, Scavengers producer, graduated from Bournemouth University in 2019 with a first-class degree in script writing for film and television. In 2020, he started his own production company, Myriad Films, and began the process of breaking into the world of independent film. Speaking about filming in Weymouth and Portland, he said, "We've chosen Weymouth and Portland because the landscape really is so beautiful. You just can't take your eyes off it. The area is so natural and preserved. Even the cafes we're shooting in have amazing views of the beach, and much of the film is centred around the landscape and the connection with nature." Scavengers follows the story of a bereaved husband, Mark, scouring the coastline for his missing wife, only to happen upon an unsettling revelation that may force him to call off the search. The short film will be released early next year to coincide with the prestigious independent film festival season, by which point Scavengers will have been 12 months in the making. Well, watch out for those people filming Scavengers in Weymouth and Portland area this week up to the 26th of May. And that's the end of our headlines tonight, and we now move on to our features section of the programme. And this week, in our first piece, it's from Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue, and it's a story we've covered before and we did touch on in the headlines today, and that is Heathland Fires and the total devastation that they caused. Now, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue and a gentleman called Mark House have released a film to tell us about Heathland Fires, the devastation it causes, and the actual demands that it creates on the fire service. And when they're dealing with such a massive fire as a Heathland Fire, how it hampers them providing service to the rest of the population. So we're going to hear from Mark House from Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue now.
My name is Mark House, and I'm the Area Manager for Prevention and Protection at Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service. On Saturday the 23rd of April, I was the incident commander at a large Heathland fire at Canford Heath in Poole. Just before 6 p.m. on Saturday, Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service received the first of 168 999 calls reporting a fire on the heath. One fire engine was sent, and when they arrived, they found an area of heathland well alight and called for further assistance. Over the next 6 hours, these firefighters were joined by a further 14 fire appliances and additional special appliances. Firefighters from Dorset, Wiltshire, Hampshire and the Isle of Wight tackled the fire. The fire spread, burning an area the size of 23 football pitches, destroying the habitat of and affecting the wildlife that live on this internationally important heathland. Whilst larger animals such as cattle and birds were able to move away from the fire, many of the smaller ones may have perished. The added tragedy of a fire in spring is that it is the breeding season, and many nests and young would have been destroyed. The fire spread, reaching the edge of the heath. 20 houses were evacuated, and the residents unable to return home until after midnight, spending hours wondering if they would have a home to return to. One resident has described how he desperately used his garden hose to spray water onto his property to try and reduce the risk of embers spread by the wind, setting fire to his property. Thanks to the hard work and bravery of the firefighters, no homes were damaged by the fire, and no one was injured. The main road through Canford was closed due to the smoke causing visibility issues and to keep people safe. As well as containing embers which can spread the fire, smoke contains toxic particles which can cause breathing problems. Many people gathered nearby to watch the fire, but for their own safety, the police asked everyone to move on. Firefighters used a combination of different techniques to tackle the fire: water to cool the fire, beating the fire with specialist fire beaters, and creating fire breaks to stop the fire spread and extinguish it. This is hard work, wearing fire kit and working close to the flames, undertaking physically demanding tasks on uneven ground, and working with reduced visibility due to the smoke and fading light. The chances of injuries is high, although I'm pleased to say that everyone stayed safe. The first fire appliance sent to the scene was from Red Hill, arriving 12 minutes after the initial 999 call. The nearest fire crew would have been Paul, who would have been there in 5 minutes. However, they were attending a 4-vehicle road traffic collision, which had 10 casualties. At the height of the Heath fire, 15 fire appliances were in attendance. None of these were therefore able to attend other incidents, such as property fires or road traffic collisions, for which they may have been the nearest help. The next nearest fire appliance would have been sent, maybe taking 5 minutes longer to get there. 5 minutes may not seem long, about the length of this video, but imagine if you were trapped inside a crashed car or in a building on fire. 5 minutes is a very long time. Many people of all ages used the heath. At times, the fire was spreading faster than anyone can run. If Usain Bolt couldn't outrun a fire, what chance would an elderly grandparent pushing their grandchild in a pushchair have? Whilst we were extremely pleased no one was hurt, this could have been a different story. So how did the fire start? Well, fire investigation officers, alongside the police, over the coming days will investigate to try and establish the cause of the fire. Please, this summer, only have campfires and barbecues in designated places, and make sure they're fully out when you finish with them. perhaps have a picnic instead. It could have been as a result of fire play and fine setting. Maybe someone alone, or maybe someone encouraged by a group they were with. There was probably not the intention to create such a big fire. However, all it took was one small flame for this massive, destructive fire to burn and destroy. Whoever started this fire, whether they meant to or not, put lives, including their own, and their friends and family in danger. Please do not play with fire. You are responsible for your choices. Make them safe ones and use your safety sense. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much there to Mark House from Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue, and of course credit also to Matt Hicks, whose footage was used there, aerial footage, which very aptly illustrated the story that Mark was trying to get over. So thank you to Matt as well. Our second piece this week is from our regular presenter Janet Hall, and is part of our Platinum Jubilee Memories series. And this week Janet has been talking to Robert Smith about his memories, and in particular one memory in particular which we're going to hear about now.
Hello. Do you remember how a few weeks back the Prince of Wales opened Parliament for the Queen? This got Robert Smith remembering when he went to see the state opening of Parliament in 1982. And as part of our gathering together of memories for the Jubilee, he made this little video about his visit.
I forget quite how it came about. Maybe I'd heard something on a programme, or somebody had told me about it, but I decided in 1982 that I would write to my MP and ask if I could have tickets to the state opening of Parliament. I remember my parents said, "Oh, don't be ridiculous, you can't do that." But I thought, well, I'm jolly well going to try, and so I did. And to my amazement, I had a reply from the then Lord Cranbourne, and he said, tickets are allotted to MPs. If I can get 1 or 2 tickets, I will let you know. I waited eagerly for a month or two, then to receive another letter from Lord Cranbourne saying, "We have 2 tickets, which are yours if you still want them." "Yes, please." And we arrived outside the entrance to the Houses of Parliament at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we were 3rd and 4th in the queue, so it meant that we would probably get a good seat, I thought. We waited, we saw everything being prepared, we saw the television cameras arriving, we saw David Dimbleby arriving, so we knew it was going to be an important occasion if he was there. We saw various people being interviewed. We weren't, but never mind. And we saw the carpet going down, the red carpet with double-sided tape. We saw the rug going down at the end of the carpet where the Queen would alight from her carriage. At about 10:30, I think it was, we were admitted. No security, nobody checked whether we had anything in our pockets. We just had to flash our ticket, and we were told, well, just go and stand where you like. And we were in the Royal Gallery, which is the gallery leading to the House of Lords, which the Queen processes down before she enters the chamber. And we made a beeline for the centre of the far side of the room, right at the front, so we had a perfect view. We saw Princess Margaret, the Duchess of Gloucester and the Duchess of Kent arrive, and Princess Margaret looked across and smiled at us Why us, I don't know, but she did. Then the television lights came on and they were dazzling. It was so bright we could hardly keep our eyes open. And we waited, and the doors were flung open, and a fanfare, which was nearly deafening, announced the arrival of the Queen and the royal family, and they headed in. The Queen was alone. I don't know where the Duke of Edinburgh was, but he was away, and the Queen came in, followed by the Prince of Wales and the Princess of Wales, as she then was. And the Queen was wearing the imperial state crown, and it was dazzling, made all the brighter, of course, by the television lights, and it has 3,500 diamonds on it. But it really was a wonderful, wonderful sight to see some of our crown jewels actually being used by the monarch, and it's something I'll probably never have the privilege of seeing again. So I consider myself very fortunate.
Thank you for sharing those memories with us, Robert.
Brilliant. Thank you very much to Robert and Janet for organising that. A different experience that I'm sure probably hardly anybody in Weymouth has ever experienced. Yeah, well done to Robert and to Janet for bringing that to us. Now, for our third piece this week, we're going to look ahead just a couple of weeks to that thing we've been building up to, which is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. And this week I went to speak to Jeff Thomas, who's coordinating the events committee at All Saints Church, to hear about what is planned on the 2nd of June for the Family Day event and beacon lighting at All Saints Church. So here we hear from Jeff. So good evening. This week I'm joined by Jeff Thomas from All Saints Church, who has joined us to tell us what's happening for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee at the Family Community event at All Saints Church on the 2nd of June. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Gary.
Tell us all about what's happening on the 2nd of June.
We kick off the day at around 10 o'clock with some tours of the tower. They'll be on the hour, every hour, through till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And as you know, there's an awful lot of interest in what particularly the view is like from the top of the tower. In fact, if you get one of our leaflets, you'll see I put a photograph in there of what the view is like from the top of the tower. You get this tremendous 360-degree panorama of Weymouth and the surrounding area. So that's a top billing attraction. And then also during the day later on for perhaps the younger generation, or the young at heart anyway, we're running a treasure hunt, and we're also bringing back something that we are world famous for here, the teddy bear zip wire. So if you've got a soft toy and you think that soft toy could do with a bit of excitement in their lives, bring him or her or it along and send them down our zip wire from the top of the tower to the ground, safely of course. And while you're about it, why not dress them up in a suitably Platinum Jubilee themed outfit for the occasion. We're offering a prize for the most impressively dressed teddy or soft toy. So those are some of the things that will be going on during the day. There'll also be refreshments, cream teas available throughout the day. What else are we doing? The church will be decorated with flowers. Our local florist, Diane, is going to be decorating the church with, I'm sure, her usual astounding display of flowers. There will be a display of platinum memories by local people remembering what they were doing perhaps when the Queen was crowned, or if they're not old enough to remember that, what they were doing at subsequent jubilees. And there'll be some rogues gallery type pictures as well available, and some other artifacts and things from previous jubilees. So that'll be something that'll be very interesting and entertaining, I'm sure. And then when we've got towards the end of the day, I'm sure you know that every Jubilee that ever has been has had an anthem. Well, this one's no exception, and our church choir will be singing an anthem, and they'll be singing it at the service of Thanksgiving at 6 o'clock on the Thursday the 2nd. And if you fancy singing an anthem, then come along and sing it with them. They'll be doing an open rehearsal in the afternoon, and anyone will be welcome to come and attend that. I should say that you can book a place on that, and you can also book a place on one of the tower tours online. Just go to the parish of Wyke, regis.org.uk website, and you'll find all the details you need to do that there. So that's the day. Lots of things going on, lots of things for everyone to do, lots of fun for the family. And then after the service of Thanksgiving's over, we're heading into the evening, and we've got a barbecue, and we've got a bar, and we've also got live music, a concert by a local band called The Coves, who promise to be very entertaining. I've certainly seen some YouTube footage of what they do, and it's very, very interesting, very skillful stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And as if all that wasn't enough, when you're stuffed full of burgers and hot dogs, and you've filled up with beer and wine or soft drinks, and you've listened to all the music, then we finish the day with pièce de résistance, which is the lighting of a beacon on top of the tower here. And we've got a gas beacon which will be part of a national network of beacons. I think it's something like over 2,000 beacons around the country will be lit at 9:45 that evening as the sort of climax of a day of celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So I think that will be a truly amazing sight to see that beacon alight at the top of the tower. Of course, we'll take the necessary safety precautions to ensure that that's where it stays, that flame, and it doesn't extend further. But it should make a tremendous sight, and we'll link up with all the other beacons, not just locally. I know there's one at Portland, there's one down at Weymouth, but around the country.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you for sharing with us everything that's happening on the 2nd of June around All Saints Church. And more information is available on the website www.parishofwykeregis.org.uk, where you can book your tower tickets and a place at the floral workshop. And we look forward to seeing you all there. There we go, and the beacon that arrived this week, and Jeff and crew there had the chance to try it out last night, and I went up there and filmed it, and it looks like it's going to be absolutely fantastic in the dark on top of the tower at 9:45 on the 2nd of June. Do pop across to the website there to see everything else that's going on, www.parishofwykeregis.org.uk/events. Now we get to that point in the programme where we've got the weather, we've got the national forecast, and this week we're joined from the Met Office by Alex Deakin.
Welcome to your latest national weather forecast from the Met Office. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe and you'll never miss a forecast. As for the weekend, well, a bit of a mishmash with low pressure up to the northwest and high pressure down to the south, and in between another set of weather fronts that will bring a bit more cloud and rain across northern areas. So yes, a mixture this weekend. There will be at times some sunshine, but there'll also be a fair few showers. And if anything, the rain will become more persistent over western parts of Scotland during Saturday evening, so fairly soggy here if you're heading out. Otherwise, it's a largely dry and fine evening. Just be prepared for those temperatures to be dropping away. The cloud will increase through the night across northwest England, Northern Ireland, and make for quite a grey day here on Sunday. Parts of West and North Wales also fairly drab, with at times some rain on and off here. Northwest England, southwest Scotland again. Rain at times for the far northwest of Scotland, and also Northern Ireland seeing showers. But again, much of the south and east, closer to the high pressure, will stay largely dry. Yes, there'll be a fair bit of cloud around, but with some sunshine across East Anglia in the southeast. Temperatures getting into the low 20s, maybe even the mid-20s. That'll feel quite warm, whereas elsewhere, again with more cloud further north and west, only into the mid to high teens at best. So on the cool side, and the outlook is for things to stay fairly cool and showery as we head into next week. As I said, subscribe to our YouTube channels and you'll never miss an update, and also make sure you're following us right across social media.
Thank you very much, Alex there. And looking at the weather for the week ahead for us, again, it seems much the same every week, doesn't it? Except the temperature's a little bit warmer this week. We're going to have some sunny spells and a bit of cloud and a couple of days of showers or possible showers during the day. But those temperatures are gradually, the underlying temperatures creeping up, so not too bad a week ahead there. Now, moving on to the traffic and travel this week. Now, there's still roadworks underway at Ferry Bridge with traffic lights there occasionally. Chickerell area, there's still road surfacing works underway. Other roadworks happening in Dumbarton Road, Portland Road much further up into Wyke, there's some work underway. Camp Road, Newstead Road, Wharncliffe Road, Goldcroft Road, Chaffees Avenue, Esplanade Road, Sutcliffe Avenue, Ambleside, Iceland Road and Moorside Close, all having disruption because of roadworks by various utilities at some time in the week ahead. Now, on the trains, the timetable changes are now in for South West Railways and GWR, so do check those. And this weekend, bus replacement service this weekend between Wareham and Dorchester South if you're going on the Weymouth to Waterloo line. Just that to watch out there. Now, on the What's On, Weymouth Pavilion coming up 22nd of May, the Simon and Garfunkel story. 27th of May, Roy Lamberti, music of George Michael. 29th of May, Sounds of Springsteen. 1st of June to 4th of June was a night at the musicals. That will be well worth going to, I can assure you. 5th of June, Henning Wen, that's the German comedian who's on often on Have I Got News for You. 9th of June, back to Bacharach, music of Burt Bacharach. 10th of June, Housewives on Holiday, and this is a comedy starring the Nolan sisters and others. And 11th of June, ABBA Stars, ABBA tribute band. Tickets available online, and with more information, weymouthpavilion.com, or give the box office a call on 01305 783 225. Now, the North Fort, 18th of May to the 5th of June, Platinum Jubilee Corgi Hunt. That's a bit different, isn't it? Obviously a theme on a treasure hunt. 2nd of June to 15th of July, Royal Memorabilia Exhibition. 2nd of June, Platinum Jubilee Tea. 17th of June, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. That's a theatrical production in the evening. And the 23rd of July, the Victorian Weekend. So do go along to the Know That Fort website. We mentioned last week also Royal Manor Theatre starting off their bumper season of short productions there on the 9th, 10th and 11th of June. Do pop along to their website, www.royalmanortheatre.co.uk, for more information on that. And just to reiterate, the Platinum Jubilee in Wyke, 2nd of June, Teddy Zipwire Treasure Hunt, Tower Tours, barbecue in the evening from 7 with live music by the Coves, Platinum Jubilee service of Thanksgiving at 6 p.m, choral workshops from 4 p.m, again book those online, and then you can take part in singing at the service and at the beacon lighting if you wish, and the beacon lighting at 9:45 in the evening. Well, there we go. We've got no film review this week. We've run out of time anyway. We've come to the end of another programme, and in just 40 minutes we will be having our Saturday night quiz. Just time for me to go and get a cup of tea and get my quiz questions ready. The stream will go live at 1:15 in 25 minutes time, and the quiz will start at 7:30. Everybody is welcome there. And if you missed it on Friday night, there's a repeat of the mid-May version, or the mid-May episode of Clive Gray's A Year Gardening. That's repeated on Sunday at 4 p.m, and I know it's covering garden lighting, I think, this time, and a couple of other things. Clive has gone back to producing those every other week now, so we hope to see a lot more things happening in the gardening programmes between now and the end of the summer. And of course, most importantly, if you've got any news stories, any events or anything happening for the Platinum Jubilee that you want to share with us, for us to share with the local community and further afield, do drop us a line, news@wykeregis.tv. and we can look to include it in next week or appropriate future programmes. Just leaves me to say, have a good evening, have a good weekend, and I look forward to being back with you next Saturday at 6 p.m. Good night.